So in today's video, I want to talk about why it's so hard, or why it seems to be so hard to make a living as a photographer. And it comes down to a few things. And I want to sort of take, for example, a doctor. So, and not a medical doctor, because I think that's really offensive for me to say that I'm going to compare photography to medical doctors. It's pretty offensive to say I'm going to compare photography to PhD doctors, but my mates won, so I feel like we can do that. And we're the same age and we've done the same things, and we're both now at the same point in our careers, just very different careers. So the two of us went to university together, and there's 300 people in our university. You had to get 3 A's or 2 A's and a B to get into it. And then, if you got a good enough grade in your degree, you could do a master's. We both went on to do masters. And then after our masters, I went to do photography instead, which was a big change from science. And he went to do his PhD and then his postdoctorate. By the time he'd finished his postdoctorate and finally got a good paying job, because up until that point, you're sort of learning, working really hard and slogging away, I was at the same point, and we'd both put in those years. So we're talking about from 2005 up until 2019, we worked like dogs for very little money, and we put in that work, and it was relentless work. And that's how long it took me to get to a point where I now make a comfortable living as a photographer. And it wasn't just that I was going taking pictures every day, I was actively working hard, and I do a lot of one-to-ones and mentorship things on the side of this. And one of the things I see when people are going, it's not working for me, it's not working for me. You look at how long they've been doing it. It's like, you've been doing it for 4 years. Of course it's not working for you. You've only been doing it for 4 years. That's a degree and a gap year worth of time. You're going to want to put a bit more time into this. Now, to put this into context, when I was at school, I was in special needs. On a Monday, I got given a pen with my name on it. And if I still had it by Friday, I got 2 pens. I've never had 2 pens, not until I was old enough to buy my own. So if I managed to make a profession out of this, I am sure you can too. And it's not that it's a particularly hard thing to learn photography. There's a few technical elements that are tricky, and there's some stuff which is personal taste, which is hard to learn if you don't have that artistic background, which I certainly didn't. But the main thing is you just have to keep learning for many, many years. It takes a long time. It takes the same amount of time to become a good professional photographer as it does to become a postdoctorate researcher. And I think having a friend who did that other thing and saying, he's sort of at the top of what he does and I'm similar position to what I do, having that comparison is quite useful for me to then be able to tell others that if you're 4 years in and going, it's not working, I'm going to quit, you've not given it long enough. You need to give it 10 years. And if this is really what you want to do, find a way to make that work. Get a part-time job, get a night job. I worked at a bar one Christmas because I was so skint. And I had clients coming in and I was serving them drinks at their Christmas parties. And I was supposed to be the big I am photographer, but I had to swallow my pride, pour the pints, serve the drinks, make the money, so I could continue to pursue what I now get to do. And I'm really glad that I did that. And I just sort of took one from my ego and, plugged away at it, because now I do get to do what I want to do all day long. Not always, there's some boring stuff I have to do, like my accounts. But generally speaking, I get a pretty good life and I get to do pretty fun things. Now, there's also a big difference here between someone who's been working at becoming a professional photographer for 10 years and someone who's been doing photography for 10 years. If you've been doing photography for 10 years and you've decided now you want to become a pro, you've still got 10 years to go, because you could probably learn. And I know this from experience. My first 3 years of photography, I could have learned it in 2 months if I actually went hard on it and really, really pushed it and didn't spend time on gear websites and reading, photography forums and all that rubbish that's just a complete waste of time. If I'd have just gone hard in on it and gone, right, what is it I need to learn? Here are all the subjects. Right, let's get learning. And if I'd have done that and just really done 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, just crammed it in there, I could have learned those years in next to no time at all. So also keep that in mind, because I've had a lot of people going, I've got 15 years experience. It's like, yeah, no, you've owned a camera for 15 years. This is not the same thing. So if that is you and you're thinking, why isn't it working? I've been doing this for 15 years. Don't panic. You've been doing it for a few weeks. Take the time, expect to take the time, and make financial plans around that as well, because there's a fly in here, that's never good. We do have to make money at the end of the day. We all have to make money. We all have bills to pay and rent to pay or mortgage to pay. If you've got a car payment system, whatever they're called, you've got to pay for that, whatever it may be. So hang in there, expect that time and accept that time. And you need to also be able to enjoy the process. If you don't enjoy the process for those 10 years of slogging away, this is probably not the right career path for you, because it is incredibly competitive and incredibly hard. There are very few jobs in it. If you want to go and get a job picking in the fields at the moment in the UK, they'll take anyone on because no one wants to do it. It's too much hard work. The pay's not enough for what most people want for their standard of living, and you're going to be in excruciating pain most days. If you want to be a photographer and get paid loads of money to do something cool every day, there's a lot of people who want to do that. So you've really got to see it as a sporting event and a competition where you've got to learn so much that you're better than the rest. And that's sort of what it comes down to. Anyway, I hope this has been of use to you and sort of reassures you a little bit, as like if you're 5 years in or 7 years in, it's not quite clicking yet. Don't panic. You will get there. You just have to keep plugging away. I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.